Hello and welcome to Homescreen. Today we're delighted to invite Ahmed Siddiqui and Adam Patton from US Financial Wellness and Employees Benefits at Branch. Today we're going to be talking about what Branch do, where they're heading, as well as taking a deep dive into their very compelling earned wage access journey. Hello both, how are you both doing?
Doing great, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries at all. We're super excited to have you guys on the show. So if you wouldn't mind just getting started on telling us, what do Branch do?
So Branch is actually a tool for working Americans. We essentially provide financial services to these working Americans. We work through employers to be able to offer this as a financial benefit to them. And our goal really is, how do we help these people get ahead financially?
Can you just tell us a little bit something about the kind of the setup of Branch, the product team, for example? How does that look?
We've got a pretty unique product structure. Actually, our CEO at TIFF is actually a very product-minded CEO. He was actually the first product manager, and he still continues to be the product manager. I lead product for Branch, and then Adam is on product design. Our CTO actually also acts as a product manager, and then we also have a product director as well, building out various parts of the application. I think there are pieces of our application that are more centered towards the employer, and then there are pieces of the application that are centered towards the employee or the worker. And so we have kind of dedicated lanes for those parts of
I see. So do they both have kind of different product teams, or are they a kind of single unit with different kind of dedicated tasks?
I think, from the engineering perspective, we definitely have dedicated engineers for those two lanes. But again, Adam, I want you to talk through how design works, because I feel like it's more of a horizontal.
Yeah, design, it's kind of early and often is kind of our approach for it. So we make sure even at ticket creation that we're kind of a part of that conversation, and even not just designers, it is more of stakeholders, PMs, engineers, kind of everyone's in that room. And throughout the design phase, we make sure to share early and often. So everyone's kind of part of that input and basically part of that solution. So we make sure we get that useful, delightful experience for our end user.
Okay, great. And actually, in terms of the design process, is there anything that you stick to quite rigidly? Is there kind of lean UX going on there, or what's the approach?
One thing I really do enjoy doing is I communicate with our director of mobile engineering constantly. We actually have a stand-up once a week for sure, just to make sure we are aligning together and building that best experience. But we were pretty standard practice, I'd have to say. What I'm used to and what I'm used to seeing. There's no golden ticket there, anything that we're doing differently that makes us successful. I think it is just all about communication and transparency for us. Yeah,
for sure. And you touched on it earlier there, but could you give us a bit more detail on your target audience? Who's this product aimed for?
So we've been focused on the hourly employee, as well as that hourly workforce, or even working Americans that are just living paycheck to paycheck, which it's kind of even more important as this pandemic is going on. A lot more people are falling into that population. So we kind of need to be really cognizant of that empathy for those users. Sometimes these people are first time going through this process. Other ones, it's been a while. Other ones, it's that every paycheck is like this. So maybe try to break that cycle. So, our goal is really at the end of the day to make sure it is that useful experience, but also can we help them more to break this cycle or just kind of support them through this difficult time.
And actually, off the back of the pandemic then, have you seen a rise in usage? Have people been interacting with the app differently?
There definitely has been a rise due to the pandemic. And I think the best way to kind of describe this is with the pandemic, number one, a lot of people actually lost their jobs, but of the people that were in this sort of hourly workspace, we're finding issues where there's actually not a lot of cash anymore. And so people just don't accept cash for things. And I think the best way to think about this, it's a trend that's been going on even before the pandemic, but it actually got even escalated, is who pays for a pizza nowadays in cash?
Right. Yeah.
And so what that actually does is it causes a lot of problems in being able to deliver earnings to, pizza delivery drivers in particular, is that if I'm ordering a pizza, I'm typically going to give my credit card number over the phone, or I'm going to use the app to actually order my pizza, right? The delivery driver comes and they do the delivery. A lot of times it's contactless now. And so there's no like exchange of tip cash money anymore there.
Sure.
And what's interesting is like, back in, before, a lot of these pizza delivery drivers were actually getting their money instantly. So they deliver their pizza, they get some cash tip, they'd have that available to them. And now what's happening is that they come back to work at the end of their shift and they drop off a pile of receipts and they say, here are the receipts for today. My tip is actually written in. And a lot of times there's somebody on the accounting side that's like tabulating it. And then they figure out, oh, okay, I owe you $50 or $100, whatever it is. And they go to the cash register and try to pull that money. And what's happening is that even when people come in to buy pizzas, they're not buying in cash. Yeah. And so there's no money in the till. And so now there's this big problem of like cash that I think a lot of these drivers needed instantly. And now they're like being told, well, you know what, you have to wait 2 weeks and we'll have it in your paycheck. And it could be catastrophic for a lot of these people. And so one of the things that we're trying to solve for is like, how do we actually like get cash to people faster? And when I say cash, I'm referring to it as digital money more than anything else. And that's actually what the platform enables. Is we can deliver tips instantly to these drivers. I mean, that's just one use case, right? But that's one area that we've really seen has been impacted by the pandemic. Obviously, everybody's getting food delivered now, right?
Yeah. But it's almost seems like you're delivering all the perks of the old system whilst delivering the benefits of the new modern way of doing it. And I can really see just using that delivery example kind of really nicely summarizes the product and its benefits. Just what I want to, are there any competitors in the US in this space?
So I think there's a few different angles to look at it, right? When we think of competitors, we actually think of cash, we think of checks, and we think of like really inefficient ways of moving money. And there's a lot of that. I mean, a bulk of the ways that how people get paid, it's super arcane. And so we believe that we can actually move money faster to these people for their purposes. And so that's kind of what we really look to from a competition standpoint.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that. So we're just going to dive into the first journey now. So right now we're on a kind of grocery shop, an online digital grocery shop. We're buying some $60 worth of groceries. We select the branch card. So that's selected there. We can charge it there. And now we can confirm that on the modal. And we get a error message saying, and a push notification as well saying we don't have funds for that. We'll jump straight into branch now, really nicely laid out homepage there. And very interesting, we've also got the iOS widget there where we can see the balance. And now we are adding some funds in. Very nicely presented slider there. And we're confirming that. Swipe to continue. Information on when it will be charged. And now we get an interactive signature process. All very seamless throughout. And now by starting up, we submit it and we get a lovely confirmation screen there. And also a referral link. Very quickly, the available balance is updated. And again, that's represented on the widget. So that was a really nice journey there. How was it, just start with kind of the process of getting the iOS widget there, because that was the thing that really stood out to me as a kind of thing I've never seen before. How was that process, getting it on there? I'm not sure who this one should go to, because I'm not sure how it worked, but yeah, how has it been? Did you work alongside Apple with that, or yeah, what was the process?
So we started pretty early on this when there's kind of a rumor of widgets and concepts are floating around. we wanted to start that design process early. And that was more of, hey, let's just kind of figure out what this could look like, maybe what features or products we want to, show or elevate to that widget status. Since that really is a little more integrated in that person's life rather than finding an app, opening an app, finding the information. What can we present to be important to them? So we came up with a ton of concepts for different features and shelved that until Apple finally released more of that requirements spec list of what should be done here, what they see as the human interface guidelines for it. And after that, then it was kind of a quick process because we wanted to get this out fast since it was new, it was fresh, people are hungry for it. Yeah. So now we can really focus on what does that user need, not as a, hey, it'd be cool if we could do this. What if we could do that? It's more about what's important to them. And like I said before, it's about being in that moment in that person's life. So they just feel integrated, and it's also integrated with other widgets too, and not in a sense as there's a data transfer there, but more as example, I have the branch widget, I have a calendar widget. My calendar widget, I can see rent's coming up. I have a cell phone bill too, but I don't get paid for another week and a half. I can easily then look at my branch widget, see that balance, see those recent transactions, and kind of make that educated financial decision of, well, should I add funds to branch? Do I need to see my EWA information on there to take a pay advance through our instant pay feature? So really just give them everything they need to do that, because from our app, they can almost, from the widget itself, they can manage really their whole financial journey in branch pretty easily.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting to see it. And were there any kind of restrictions from a design point of view in doing that, or did you have quite a lot of freedom to let loose?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of freedom. All the data and interactions are stuff that's already currently in our app. So yeah. I mean, that's the nice thing about them, right? It's an extension, but it almost feels like it was installed with the iOS itself. Yeah. But as in restrictions, I mean, Apple just kind of gives you guidelines of being like, hey, information should be contextual and should be changing. Action should make sense with the data, things like that. Restrictions, not really from a design perspective. We just really want to make it feel as part of the OS itself and not overtly branded all over the place.
Nice. Well, yeah, you've done a really good job on that, and it integrates really well. And how's the reaction been to it? Have people been interacting with Branch differently off the back of it?
Yeah, so we have a really good chunk of users that are using our widget, and mostly it's gone with actually overwhelmingly, it's the medium-sized widget, which is the one that was shown in the demo. And I think that's really just because of screen real estate, as well as the information shown and the actions that you can take are the ones they really want to use and see. So that's been great for us, and it keeps increasing the usage and the number of people that are actually installing one or more widget.
And in terms of the signature phase, that was another part that stood out. Did you use any third-party integrations for that?
No, so this one actually it's an open source signature library that we used for this. There's no DocuSign or any sort of other third party that we're using here. We just liked the way it worked, and it gives a level of personalization to the experience that we really liked. There's no hard requirement for a signature. You can manage it with a checkbox or something else, but we just kind of really liked the way it flowed, and I think our users like it too. So that's why we put it in.
And I guess it's another level of security as well as kind of, that gives the user that kind of reassurance. And why not include it if it's really a quick step and it works really well? It fits into the whole flow really nicely. Okay. And then in terms of kind of the amount you can lend, how do you determine how much money a user can get? What's the sort of back-end technology behind that and the process?
Great. Yeah, I think the only call out here is that we're not lending them anything. It's money that's earned already. Mm-hmm. And so because we work with employers, what we do is we get data from the employers, such as how many hours that they've worked. Mm-hmm. And based off of that, then we can run a calculation of how much they've earned already. Yeah. You work 2 days, you've earned X, you're able to take that out. And then all we do is we just, when the employee gets paid, we just subtract that amount from that. So, I mean, ultimately, it is still their money, right?
Yeah.
It's just that they're getting it earlier.
Yeah, well, we really enjoyed that journey, and it just seemed to work so well and quick, and those notifications came through really nice and smoothly. Okay, so now we're going to try that transaction again, now that the advance has been provided. So using Apple Pay here, we can see the nice branch graphic there. That's been approved, so the transaction's been made, push notification coming through there. And clicking on the widget there, we're brought back through to branch. The balance has been updated, and before the cards even arrive in the post, we can make transactions. Okay, great. So we saw some very nice fast push notifications there again. What went into kind of getting it up to that speed?
Yeah, so we are entirely built as a real-time platform. And so, as soon as a card is swiped or dipped or tapped with Apple Pay, the notifications are firing instantly. And so we get this notification from our processor and we immediately send it to the user. So be it a decline notification or approval or just even a balance update, we can send that instantly to the user. One of the things that we found with push notifications that was super valuable is always showing the user their balance as part of that transaction. So you say, all right, you spent $60, now your balance is 91 cents. Like, people love that about the feature. So
that immediate response, again, it makes people really reassured in these apps that they keeping it up to date, that they can just, as peace of mind really, isn't it? So am I right in saying that you have a relationship with Plaid, which helps with this flow that we've just seen?
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure that Branch is available on as many platforms as possible. And so again, if you're using Venmo or if you're using Cash App or if you're using some sort of like budgeting tool, whatever, we want to make sure that Branch is available through those platforms. So we did a very unique integration with Plaid as part of their Plaid exchange. And we are actually the first financial institution that integrates in with Plaid via real time. And so whereas most other banks, the refresh rates are probably like, once a day or twice a day, literally when we swipe the Branch card, it'll show up in all your fintech apps connected to Plaid instantly. There is like no lag. And so again, it's because the way that we architected the platform is actually on real time. That's why we're able to like provide this information.
You can certainly see. So without Plaid, you wouldn't have that kind of response rate and those updates quite as seamless then.
I would say on third-party applications, right? So yeah, absolutely. I mean, third-party applications getting access to Branch data instantly, it's all powered through Plaid. But I would say that the platform that we use, for the real-time transactions actually enables that.
Yeah. Okay, great. So just moving on to kind of the roadmap, Branch's roadmap. Is there anything that we should be looking forward to here, or how does that look?
I think for roadmap for next year, really what we're going to lean in on is more features and functionality that's going to benefit these workers. And we're going to take a deeper lean in to figure out what helps them the most. I think, when you think about a bank or you think of a financial institution, there's actually a lot of like precedent and things that you think you need. One of those things being paper checks. We don't believe that's the case. I don't think that this new generation of people getting on really care about that. They just want better ways of being able to use their money, to be able to save better, and to be able to just interact with other platforms. And so we're trying to look for opportunities where we can do that in sort of a more modern way. So we have that. And then also from the employer side, kind of looking at some of the needs that employers have to be able to better service these employees as well.
Okay, great. Yeah. And is this going to remain a US kind of market for now, just to kind of capitalize on that, or are you looking to spread to different countries?
I think just the problem that we're trying to address in the US is just so big right now that we don't foresee at least 2021 us moving away from that. We do definitely have aspirations in getting the product out to other markets, especially more underserved markets is kind of what we're really looking at.
Yeah.
But I think just with everything that needs to happen still for 2021, we'll most likely be in the US for most of the year.
And it almost seems like off the back of the more and more cashless societies that we're seeing, the need for your product is just going to be ever more present. And I think it's just very well placed at the moment. And the things that we're seeing, it just seems to really fit that need. So hats off to you guys for doing that. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add to either both the journeys that we've watched, or just anything you'd like to put out there?
Yeah, no, I think there is just going to be a huge uptick in digital payments through both Google Pay and through Apple Pay. And one of the things that that we showed in the journey is using the Apple Pay card right away. And one of the things that we've done really unique is we've used the Apple Pay card. You can receive the Apple Pay card or the Google Pay card before you receive the physical plastic in the mail. Yeah. And we believe for this demographic, it's really important because they need access to their cash immediately. And especially in these cases where, you sign up to become a pizza delivery driver, you do your deliveries and you get paid. Well, you need a way to be able to spend it. And I think Apple Pay and Google Pay are just like amazing for that particular use case. Yeah. We can do that right away. You don't need to wait for the physical card to arrive in the mail to be able to use your money.
Yeah, it's an incredible combination, actually. Just having, not only do you not need a card, you don't even need your paycheck now. It's that instantaneous. So it's the kind of combination of Apple Pay and Branch is a very compelling one. So I can see how that kind of partnership really fits. And I just wanted to add as well, can anyone find you on LinkedIn or Twitter? Have you got any social channels that I can call out?
Yeah, so on social channels, Twitter is @Branch. For me personally, it's @SiddiqiAhmed. And then also both Adam and I are on LinkedIn. Another thing that I would call out is I just recently published a book on payments called The Anatomy of the Swipe, which is available on Amazon. Again, kind of talking through a lot of payment journeys and just kind of new things that are going in fintech. Adam, did you want to talk about how best to contact you?
Sure. I'll even go off that book plug for you too. When I joined Branch, the payment thing was new to me. It was really crucial in kind of giving that education up. The book lays it out really nicely. If you love coffee, you're gonna love those metaphors in the book. So I'd check it out. As well, I'm on Dribbble. I like to use Dribbble a lot, the design community, and it's down with APP, my initials. So, but yeah, LinkedIn as well works for me.
Great. Yeah, we're super excited about the book as well. It's seems like the payment structures in the US are very hard to kind of really appreciate and understand. And it seems like your book really kind of gets to the bottom of a lot of that. So yeah, it's super exciting. Well, that's it. Thanks to you both so much for joining us today and sharing those journeys with us. And thank you all for watching as well. If you haven't already, go follow us on YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Homescreen. Also, if you have desire to see these journeys, which will be in Pulse, or the thousands of other ones we have, please head over to pulse.11fs.com to find out more. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.